Many parents and guardians are still questioning how this online selection system works. Acting Secretary to DHERST, Dr. Francis Walp-Momi, highlighted that in 2022, 27,902 grade 12 students applied online for 249 programs in 62 registered tertiary institutions in PNG. From the total applicants, 11,125 have been successfully selected. These students have met the criteria set by institutions as per their own criteria in the selection system. 16,777 students who did not meet the criteria are placed in the admission pool.
Friends, the invited guests.
Of the total number of grade 12s in 2022, 8,442 students will completely miss out from the admission pool due to factors such as having low GPAs.
11,000 students were selected after they met the criteria. And from the 11,000, about 8,000 have not filled in the spaces that we have at the moment, the 19,000. So these spaces will now be filled in by students who are now placed in the admission pool. So institutions will select about 8,000 students.
Dr. Walp-Momi went on to explain the 5 factors that determine the online selection of students. He placed emphasis that grade point average or GPA is not the only criteria used for the selection of students.
You may also find that some students, although they score good marks, they missed out because of at least five reasons. One is because GPA is not the only factor used to select students. 2 is the choices. Choices are very important. The students must make good choice based on their marks. Third is the quota. Institutions set quota for their intakes. So you'll also find that many students, they score very high marks. So competition is very high. In such situation, you'll find that only the top students, the high scoring GPA, will get into the spaces available. So even if you scored very good marks, you may not be able to get in because of the quota. They only get students who scored very high marks. The other factor is the subject combination taken at grade 12, and also the course requirements set by the institution. For instance, in UPNG Science Foundation, they require A in advanced mathematics. If you scored all A's in other subjects, but you scored B in advanced math, the system will automatically reject you because it only recognizes the criteria set by the institution. Similarly to choices, UPNG, for instance, their law school, they set the requirement in such a way that they only select first choice. So if you scored very high marks and you put law as your second choice, the system will automatically not select you because the system only recognizes the first choice. So these are the factors that may have affected some students who scored very high marks.
This matter was also raised on the floor of Parliament during the January Parliament sitting by the Deputy Opposition Leader and Member for Kirwina Goodenough, Douglas Tomuriesa.
Some of the students who've done so well have missed out completely. Now, Mr. Assistant Speaker, Prime Minister, this question was raised a year ago or 2 years ago, and the Higher Education Minister then assured us that something would be done. Please, can we relook at the system that is at the higher education, the selection criteria?
In response, Minister responsible Don Polya had this to say.
They have options of 5 choices. So it's not like they're doing without the involvement of the students themselves. They can choose 5 different programs as preferred by a grade 12 school leaver. The students do the application. The selection system provides information for his program with clear and distinctive requirements, preferences, and residential options. C, the national online application system is open for 3 months. Thus, students have more time for decision making. D, students' application must be matched to social programs, exams combinations, and requirements of a university or higher education institution. E, the national application system increases chances for admissions through subject combination matching. F, Mr. Speaker, please note that GPA is not the single requirement considered as a factor in program selection ranking.
Minister Polly admitted that there are no perfect systems in place and there is room for improvement on the online selection system.
It goes without saying that as the minister responsible for this sector, the space that I'm entrusted with, I will ask for a report and we will work with higher education institutions and put together our ideas to review and improve because I believe that the systems can be improved, any system can be improved from the current status quo.
Overall, according to the Acting Secretary Dr. Momi, the results from the 2022 selections are good.
And the results seem to be positive because of some of the observations that we saw from the results.
The National Electronic System for Admission, Verification and Selection of Higher Education Candidates was officially launched on the 12th of December 2017 by the then Minister Pilar Niningi. This system was developed and implemented by PCG Academia, who had signed a contract with DHERST. PCG Academia is a global consulting company that aims to support educational and scientific mission of universities. The system was created to ensure there is transparency in the selection process and for every candidate to be given equal chances. It will also prevent nepotism and unfair practices in the selection process. The basis of the National Online Selection System is an algorithm created by PCG Academia. This algorithm compares candidates' parameters, such as their exam results, with criteria set by individual universities. Upon analysis, the system generates a list of the most suitable candidates.